evening, everyone.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday.
How's everyone doing? I don't know. I just heard someone. I was reading a comment about the storms, and yeah, maybe it'll be a little lagging again tonight. I don't know.
Hi, Dana.
It's been hearing thunder on and off again where we are, so who knows? Patricia, how's everyone doing? Vicky, I saw you on there. David, Carrie, how's everyone doing? Laura, Teresa, I'm just trying to go through everyone. Ann, how are you? Dana, how are you, my friend?
Got Nikki.
Alrighty.
Hey,
Edward.
I haven't seen you in a while, sir.
Tracy.
Christopher.
So, God, feels like it's been a few days, right? Robin Giuliano, God, where you been? She used to be our agent, but I had to fire her. She wasn't around anymore.
You've been missing in action.
Hello, Kathy. How are you? So we are fresh off the heels of the start of our whirlwind fall event calendar. Hey, Carmen. Lynn, how are you? And Tina, last night, hey, Mary, we were at the John Inskeep. That's a place we only do twice a year. There are a few of those. John Inskeep, the Van Horn, Veronica was there. Speaking of, Chris is going to put up the link again.
I did.
Well,
I'll do it again.
Up in the comments.
Ba-bum.
That link right there is if you were there last night, you want to join in the conversation and come up on here with us and talk about some of the experiences you had or whatever about the, oh no, Robin, you got to be present to be our agent. And with that last name, we have to reconsider. But anyway.
Don't listen to him, Robin.
But the link is there if you want to join us, if you want to talk about any experiences, anything that happened during the night that you want to share, funny, scary, different. Feel free to join us. Just click the link.
We missed you, Laura. We're sorry that you didn't make it.
Follow the instructions, and I'll see you as a guest backstage there on my phone. We'll bring you on, and we'll talk about the event. Like I said, the Inskeep House is twice a year. And because of that, like there's so many other places that we're like super familiar with, like the Mine, Camp Evans. We're there 5 times a year. You know what I mean? Pretty much every other month at this point.
Yeah, it's insane. While he's having his little thing, I want to give a shout out that this is a cute little cup that Deb got me for my birthday. It's my boo day, a little ghost. So I thought that was really cool that she did that. She surprised me last night. So thank you, Deb. That was really kind of you.
That's her shameless way of saying give her more gifts.
No, listen.
You know Chris so that well, but she that was her way of giving the rest of the
tries to dampen my thing. I'm saying how much I appreciated this
I don't know
nice
what that
little
means, by the way.
This nice surprise that Deb did. Deb it's just a cute little cup that it's my boo day, and it is adorable. So, and she knows I love my coffee. So, I fell. That's all. It's a sprain. It'll heal. Thank you.
She tripped over air. That's what happened.
I'm getting older and.
Hey, Johnny Guinness, how are you? So anyway, we're at John. I'm going to try to stay on point, no matter how hard.
I'm gonna behave.
How hard the forces may work against me. Danielle, you might want to come on too, and if you're prepared to do so, and
I'll pop it up there again.
Talk about your area and your night. Josie didn't get a boo mug. I don't need a boo mug. I have a Paranormal Savior mug, Tracy, which supersedes all of that.
He's jealous.
He's
jealous.
My friend Tanya Lund gave me a Paranormal Savior mug that is very special. And a shirt to match.
She did.
Thank you.
She did. 100%.
So, and I didn't have to shill for it like she's doing right now for more gifts. People just give things to me. Like that, who gave me a Ghost Adventures coloring book.
You see how much of a hater this man is?
So, again, if you were there and you want to join in, feel free to join in. You don't have to. You get a lot of people are comfortable coming on the stream.
Yeah.
But, again, not a lot is known about that building as far as the paranormal stuff. Who lived there. I mean, they know who kind of lived there, but, like, deaths and stuff. There's not a whole lot of information available, and you know, we've gone in there and just do what we do everywhere. And that building's small in a way that we could use the whole entire building. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? So that building's small enough to where even if we divide it into four, it's the whole building, pretty much. So again, we're not in there a whole lot, but you kind of remember the things that have happened before when you've been there, and you kind of build upon that. And whatever happens, happens. It's the same everywhere we go. And last night was pretty good. And I'll tell you what, you know, I'm usually in the same areas all the time. And I say this all the time and I mean it, that I love watching the different thing that happens every event with different people.
Yeah.
No, it's never the same people.
No.
It just can't be. It doesn't work out that way. And I had 4 groups last night. 2 of them were really different and unique, and weird things were going on, and everything was happening. And then 2 after that were just kind of, it was just so weird. It was like
right?
Volume up to 10, volume up to 2, down to 2. It was like, and the only thing that was different about, besides the makeup of the groups, of course, was that, and no offense to the people that were there, the first 2 groups had younger women. They were like 20-year-old-ish. Even though I know Nikki told me she's 23, but I don't know if that's true or not. Nikki, is that true? You mentioned that.
Yes, it is, right, Nikki?
You mentioned you were like 23.
Yes.
But it was different because the 2 women that were down there, I'm sorry, Nikki. Yes, 20. Yes. My apologies.
I like her birthdays.
Nikki was actually my EMF angel last night. And if you don't know what that means,
saw that.
you can look at the pictures I posted. I had tripwires. She was holding onto them like an angel. And I had her.
I actually came across, I said to John, I go, what is going on here? And he explained the whole thing of what he made you do, Nicole.
So a little weird.
I give you credit.
So the first 2 groups down there, and if anybody's here that was part of those groups, and that was Brian and Taylor, Doug, Caitlin, and that was, I remember those people being, I think the other Doug, Alex was in that group. The young female, first time ever down there, 2 of them got touched on the butt in the same exact spot. They were standing in the same spot, not on the same spot in their butt, which I think.
So that was Taylor and Caitlin?
Caitlin. And it happened with the first group, but I purposely tried to see what would happen if I put a younger female Caitlin in this same spot, and I didn't tell them what happened. I'm just like, do me a favor, stand in that archway, and then I want you to move to your left a little bit into this one corner, and bam, I just felt like my butt got touched. And it was just like, are you kidding me? And the energy with those 2 groups was like, I thought I was going to have one of the most active nights I've had in a long, long time. And it was for those 2, for sure. Everybody was feeling cold. People were feeling nauseous. People were feeling tightness. People were getting, feeling
Taylor
cold.
got scratched, right?
Taylor got scratched. That was a whole other thing.
She actually showed it to me.
I felt like somebody touched me. She goes, it's really hot here on my arm. And her father, Brian, turned on the flashlight and there were marks. Crawler on the ceiling. Rachel was part of that group too.
Yeah, Rachel.
That was, I believe, that's when Caitlin was standing there, I believe, or it might have been you, or it might have been somebody else, but the stick figure went, that was really, really bizarre. It started on, I want to say Taylor or Caitlin, either one. It started on her, kind of detached, went to the corner, Caitlin, right, went to the corner, and then zipped right back over. And then it detached again, and it went up the ceiling, was crawling on the ceiling above her. It was so cool watching that. There she is, speak of the devil. And Caitlin, I was telling what happened to you, get touched on the butt, and it wasn't Bjorn. It was somebody who was back there. But again, Caitlin, what you
Spirit
guys,
that was back
yeah,
there.
what you guys didn't see was after you guys left, it really that sort of thing
Kevin.
didn't happen at all. So it was different and eventful, and um, whoever that man is down there, we got one name, and there is a name of a family member, and it's not like there were how many Johns that lived there? 5, I think.
Yeah.
There were 5 different John Inskeeps that lived there,
Yeah,
but this name was Ephraim.
Yeah.
And there was an Ephraim that
yeah.
was born in that house.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was him or not, but yeah, sassy, very sassy for sure, and he likes the young women. So I whenever we probably won't go back there until next year, but only young women are allowed in that event because I want a whole bunch of butt grabbing in the basement. I want to see how many.
Lord, that's your takeaway from it, huh?
No, it was really, really strange how that happened, and I tried to recreate that with Nikki's group and the other group that was there, and.
Did the overtones change? Because we had a guest that was there last night, John Nielsen, that was there.
Yeah, I like John.
And John had the experience with you down in the basement with the whole religious thing and the cross. And you were telling me on the way home that when John's group was down there, there wasn't that interaction like there was. Do you think that the spirit changed, or
you know what I think happened? And I see all the I see Kevin's on, Christina is on. I thought I saw it. The whole family's on. Yeah, all the McIntyres.
Christina,
all the McIntyres are on. I think that Kevin is gone. By the way, I think they're covering it up. And
you think they're coming on his post?
I think this is part of their alibi. But when Kathy was down there, the very first thing that initiated this person when I first went there for the first time was John had a, how do you say, Celtic cross?
Mm-hmm.
Celtic cross. And he was in the archway. We all kept talking about how the archway looked like it was some kind of altar or something. And he hung his cross in there, and we got lots of activity. So Kathy tried to create that with a cross that was blessed.
Okay.
And whoop, shut it down.
Oh,
that's when the energy.
Maybe that's what happened.
Man, it shut it down. From that point on,
well, that makes sense.
Nothing. Just the opposite effect of what happened the first time. So that was definitely strange.
Yeah. Now, I have to say I've had the fortune in that building, unlike the rest of them, that I've actually been able to do the scrying part in the dining room area and had some wonderful experiences. A face come through on the scrying that actually turned out to be a picture that was off to the side of somebody who lived, a family relative that lived in the house. And that was when we first started going to that building. I got to do the oldest part of the house the last time we were there. And this time I got to go up on the second floor and up in the attic. And I've had experiences in each section with groups, which are amazing. The very first group out of, I do believe it was with Nikki and Joy. And we actually heard footsteps, and we tried to recreate them, if I'm correct. Again, my memory tends to go a little in and out sometimes, but yeah, we literally heard steps, and we tried to recreate them from going up the attic and going down to the first floor and coming up to see if that we could. So then we went back and we caught it on recorder. Yes, we got it on the recorder, and Nikki called it. Nikki said, it sounds more like dragging. And we went back and we listened on the recorder, and sure enough, you hear dragging, like furniture or something's being moved. Go figure. I've never heard that before in that building, ever.
Yeah, you wonder if that's residual, or if that's...
it only happened in their group.
In any building. In a perfect world, the perfect way to investigate a building that's not lived in or occupied would be to run video and audio for an entire night. You know what I mean? Like sundown to sunup. Just, again, I'm not looking for all that video, but I'm just saying it would be interesting to see if there were certain times that time when you were monitoring if residual things were happening, like you said, if and compare that to when you're there live. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you document everything. 8 o'clock at night, you heard that sound. There was a voice in the basement, which I heard live this time, by the way, a female. It would be interesting. Again, that's the ideal way, but you need a lot of people and a lot of man hours or something like that. But that would be a great way to do that. To know whether it's residual or if it's.
It would be interesting to know that. There was a spirit that was messing with Doug up there every time that he would stand in this one door, because there's up in the attic, there's a room that we can't really go into because, there's an issue with the roof over on one side of it.
I just want to apologize to Rachel. If Chris was cursing a lot over there, I want to apologize. She does have a.
No, that was at the end, and I wasn't the only one who did it, mister. So, but anyways, like I was saying, Doug was over there, and Doug was standing in the doorway, and we had taken and made the tripwires into like a little area so that, all right, you're over here. Now we can interact with you, see if you can respond. And every time Doug turned away, all the lights would go off. And he turned back around. He goes, okay. I'm like, and then he turned and he'd go to, and they'd all go off again. It was like the spirit was taunting him. And it was the most, I've never seen anything like it. And it was so hilarious to see. Taylor and Alex were up in one of the rooms where the ladder that goes up, where you got that stick figure. And we're doing a live with Tanya, where it was going up.
She remembers things.
I do remember things,
but
because the activity is like when there was an SLS that got a figure that was on the stairs, those ladders that were going up to the roof. But anyways, in that room, Alex and Taylor did a knock, and they got a knockback on the side of the room that wasn't from the outer part of the house, which was crazy. So they were communicating with something there. And they were going back and forth. We had Peter sat down and started talking about an incident that he had. And as he's talking, Peter's got this way of just talking like the spirit is face to face with him. Like he sees who's there. It's kind of freaky. I was just like, huh. But he was literally having a conversation like something responding back. And all of a sudden, I have these little sensor lights that I put everywhere that are motion sensor, and it just went bing up above him over to the side. And I was like, did you do that? And he was like, oh, I had to have. And then I said, okay, so when the sensor light shuts off, I want you to do that. And he kept trying to recreate to make that light, and it never did. But the funny thing was, and I was telling John about this when we were driving back, now that I think about it, it wasn't just that the light went off. Before the light went off and he was having this conversation, he actually turned to us and he was asking about how he felt. It was hot up there. It was really hot. And there was a coldness that he kept feeling it was coming. And trust me, none of us was feeling it at all. We were hot. And he was like, it's cold over here. And then shortly after is when that light went off. So whatever he was talking to, whoever he was talking to, and what he was talking about, the spirit was reacting to Peter talking to him. How crazy. I mean, that doesn't happen all the time. That's that's not a piece of equipment. That's like the environment was telling him something was there. Then it used a trigger object to show that something was reacting to. I know I'm getting a little bit. I was excited by it. I mean, strangely enough, and then we heard on a recorder, they heard Indian chanting.
And Native American chanting, you mean?
Yes. And we got told to get out, to leave. And I was told to get out several times in rooms, so.
Well, I did the same thing. Again, if you're with me, you kind of know I follow a pattern when it comes to promising spirits things that I have no intention of delivering on. I like to give them respect of saying, look, I know you're there in that room, but if you do stuff, we will come in there. We'll stay out here. And of course, stuff happens. Well, we have to go in there and further investigate. But, they figure it out after the first time, of course, and it only works one time. But it was definitely a good night, Like I said, that building is not very big, but all buildings can pack a punch.
It's the Inskeeps.
Yeah, John's Inskeeps in Marlton. all buildings could pack a punch the buildings that have claims of activity and the people have experienced things and have had things happen. They're all capable of packing a punch, at any weekend or any day, and they're also capable of the opposite. Absolutely nothing happening. So, if you've ever come with us, you know that we do what we can to try to initiate interaction and communication, and hope for the best from there. You know, but yeah, people do make up. It's here's the formula. It's the building and the spirits there. Um, us coming in and providing the method, if you want to call it that, methods for communication, if there's a way to do that, and then the people who are there. That's the formula. Those three things all work together for whatever result that you get. The people who are there are just as important as the equipment that we bring. And I say that all the time because it really, the more you do this, the more you see different energies matter. And when Kathy put that cross up in that, and I told her to, so I'm not saying it was her fault. She said, "Hey, you want to test this theory again and see what happens?" We did. We literally hit the off switch down there. Great to know and to experience, not for those people who are down there because there was no butt touching going on, But yeah, it was interesting for me. Touching? I mean, yeah, gonna charge a little extra for that.
So I did post the link for someone that was there last night. If you'd like to come on and talk about your experience again, John and I can reiterate and talk about the different things through our view, our lens, our viewpoint. But we and the people watching would love to hear it through yours. It just validates what happened, and we're not just here talking about everybody's experience, through our view. You could share yours if you're comfortable with doing that.
But there is nothing better for us because, again, we're not making any money off of those events. We donate the money to the sites that we support. But again, there is no better thing for us, hey Louis, long time, than the good feedback. All those posts that we saw today, great event, had a great time. The feedback that we get there and when people leave, I'll always ask people on the way out, did you have a good time? Did you have a good time? Because, ultimately, that's what it's about, whether someone got pulled across the floor or not. Did you have a good time? Did you have fun? Did you learn something? Hopefully, did you have an experience? Would you come back? I mean, that's the stuff that matters to us. And we've been very fortunate in that, like, all the October events, September events are sold out, and there are people even emailing to ask to be put on waiting lists because nobody's canceling. People are coming, and we enjoy doing it. Maybe a little much this year because of her, but
because of me.
But we do enjoy doing it, and again, it's always for us when we get there. We're like there 2 hours before anybody gets there, and we're figuring out, we're setting up who's going to be where, what's going to be what, and it's always the same. We walk in there with the notion of, all right, who's ever here, we're bringing people in, and hopefully the building cooperates. That's always the thing. We talk to people all the time about, whatever the building gives you, that's what you get. And if the building is giving you a lot, that makes our job, if you want to call it that, so much easier, and it gives people a better experience because, the building is like active and things are happening, and we're just steering the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Deb mapped a figure very quickly up in the attic in one of the rooms, the very first room when you come up to the right.
That's not what she's talking about, though. She's talking about being with me.
So I felt the touch.
I know you're taking credit for whatever she put.
I said, no, I'm not taking credit from any. I'm just stating a fact. By the way, Deb.
Deb, let's talk about what happened.
He's jealous about my mug.
Let's talk about what happened in the basement, Deb. I know Chris is trying to wrestle away and say whatever happened.
Yes, that's what I do.
But you were actually in the basement, and there's something down there called the cooling board. Now, what is the cooling board?
It's where John
it actually looks like the shape of a coffin, and it's something that back in the old days that they used to prepare the bodies before the embalming,
right? The
process. And this particular board was kind of shipped back and forth between the families, in the different properties for
it's got the stain of their blood on it.
It's got stains on it, but what I had people do, because you know me and my love for haunted objects, and that bear, you saw the picture of the bear. There's a sweet old bear that looks like he's been through the ringer, and he sits in a chair all by himself on the first floor. That bear wants to talk, and next time I'm there, I'm going to talk to that bear. But I take that cooling board from, it's usually upstairs. I bring it in the basement, and I have everyone put their hand on it and close their eyes, just to again see what energy comes off as it relates to people in every group. Alex was there, and here's the thing. First group, literally, almost everybody had the same type of feeling, with the exception of one or two. Equilibrium issues, pressure in their chest or in their head. Some felt like they were kind of like lifting, like their body was lifting up a little bit, but only one person didn't feel anything, and that was Karen from the site. But everybody else, when they closed their eyes and just let their mind go blank and they put their hand on it, they felt something from that board.
Why do you think that is?
I think there's energy. Stone Tea. I think there's energy of whoever, some of the people that were laid out on that board or with that board. And I actually thought for a minute that maybe that board brought people in that are in that building.
Almost like its own portal type thing.
I honestly believe that. I believe that maybe they're not all Inskeeps or whatever. I think that board brought some people with it.
Do you think that it was making people feel what that person felt before they passed? Or do you just
there's no way of knowing that. I'm just saying.
I'm just theorizing.
There's energy attached to it. I think
people were tapping into the same thing.
Yeah, people had already been passed when they were laid on that board, obviously.
But if a spirit is trying to get you to, if everybody felt the same thing.
No, it wasn't all this. It was variations of the same kind of 3 or 4 things. Pressure, nausea. Like there were times in the area where I call the archway, prior to Kathy with the cross.
Yeah.
I felt extreme vertigo and nausea in the middle of that room.
I don't like that.
It was wave, and then it would go away, and then wave, and then it would go away, and it was just like, and all of a sudden you feel it, you feel sick, and then you go, okay, that's gone. And then people kept saying their arms were cold, not their whole body, like their arms were cold, as if
something was holding on to them.
Yeah. So I think that board brought spirits in. Like, what does John Zappa say? Spirit attracts spirit.
Yeah. So that would make sense, and if that's the theory, if you go behind that, I do have to admit I don't like that basement. I've told you that from the get-go since we started, and that is one area you guys will never see me investigate or go in and do a group. I'm just saying that flat out because I'm not comfortable down there, so I'm not opening myself up to it. But I was very intimidated when we were doing the remote EVP. And at the very end, and that loud blast came from the phone down there. Why are you laughing? I was intimidated to go back down there. But I did it. But I was very intimidated to go down there. I'm not going to lie. And I swear to God, I think you left those things that kept beeping when I go by to like...
They're just motion sensors.
Well, they're not just motion sensors. They make sounds.
Yeah. But the good thing about that area, Les, I only hit my head once. Well, usually I'm good for 4 times in that building, but no, Deb was saying that she felt pressure in her ears, and when she left the area, it dissipated, and that's cause and effect. You put your hand on the board. Now you're feeling it.
Somebody told me up in that, and I think it was Maria. Maria went to go walk into the back room where Alex and Taylor got that knockback, and they were doing their interaction with something that was in that room. Maria went to go walk in that room, and then I think it was Maria, if I remember correctly. that she all of a sudden just grabbed her head like this, and she was like, "Oh my God, the pressure in my ears, they hurt so bad all of a sudden," and then poof, it went away.
And again, they all put their hands on the board. You know what I mean? Every single person that was with me did it.
Yeah. Oh, it's I believe it's Alex's birthday today.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex from last night.
Oh,
so happy birthday!
Yeah,
Thank you for reminding us, Daniel.
But like I said, that place, like every place, is you go in it, you set up, you go, and you see what happens. And it's always great when people kind of get to experience what we've experienced there, and we get to experience new things with other people. It's not just a matter. It'd be one thing if we were sitting here telling you everything that we told you that happened to us. Oh, well, you know, my butt got grabbed. Oh, you know, the knockback. Oh, this. Oh, the pressure. That's one thing. It would be just us saying what happened. It's another when you guys were there. They're on the live stream right now. Taylor, Deb, Ann, all these people were there. Rachel, Nikki, all these people were there last night, and they can attest to everything that we just said. And that's great because it validates everything. Here's the thing about the paranormal that will drive you crazy, and it's a great thing and it's a bad thing, all in the same way. Personal experiences are the best things that could happen to you in this field. If that's what you're looking for, is to have an experience with spirit communication. A personal experience is great. When it happens, you either are afraid, you know, you move away from it. You're like, oh, I'm not doing that again. Or some people get the adrenaline and they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go back in there and do that thing again and whatever. But regardless, it was your experience. It happened to you. And you could tell that story over and over and over to people. When I was in this building, I saw this happen. And when I was in that building, we heard this. And again, it's your story. It happened to you. Great. It happened. You experienced it. It's another when it's happening with other people, like what we do and what happened yesterday. And we could say, yeah, when we were in this room with this group, this happened to that person. And lo and behold, there they are in the chats.
Yeah, not afraid, excited. Well, I get afraid and I run, and I'm not ashamed of that. Sorry.
But that's the cool part of it, is that with the events, when the experiences happen, there's other people in that group with you that were part of it, you know? And well, I love that part.
I like that too. We were sitting, it was Lisa. Lisa was sitting in the room that's set up as the children's room with all and it's got the creepy old dolls in it too. That's the crazy part. Some of those things are beyond creepy. And she's sitting in there all by herself, God love her. And she's communicating with something, and then she asked something and it said, "Hey, Robert from Hawaii."
No, he's back, I think.
Is he back? Mm-hmm. So she's communicating, and all of a sudden it comes across, "Am I dead?" And it said it was a boy, then it said it was a girl, and I said, "Am I dead?" And she said, "You are, unfortunately." And right out of the gate, came right back and said, "Say, I'm sad."
She said, "You're still there. Good for you, Robert. Man, you've been there for a
while."
Aloha,
still out there.
In Hawaii.
Ooh, enjoy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Please don't do that again. It's not ooh.
In my world, it's
I don't even know what that is. It sounds like a record that something. Yeah, Robert, tell me about it. Please don't make her do that again.
And this is all without alcohol.
No. I don't think I've ever heard of that one before. But yeah, so anyway, that was a really good event. And again, we understand people not wanting to come on and tell their stories. You know, it's one thing to be there and be part of it. It's another to come on in front of everyone and share.
Danielle, you don't want to come on and talk about your area and what you had going on between the groups?
You know, not everybody can just hook the camera.
No, I know.
And go,
I know.
You know, but it was fun. It was a fast night. Go on, Taylor. And
yeah, here
we switch gears and we go to where the hell do we go now? Van Horn. Van Horn's the next one. But tomorrow, no, maybe no Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be the Creeper Gallery for sure. We're going to go back there. The weather's cooler in Jersey. The temperature, we've gotten away from those 90-degree temperatures, so we can go back there and try to get 3 objects done, hopefully in a couple of hours. So I'm looking forward to getting back there, and hopefully there's a few dark ones there that I could. Van Horn, yeah. The Van Horn's another one of those. Took me by surprise last year. Caitlin should go on about the show. Yeah, I don't think she wants to.
Yes, that was pretty cool when you guys told me that. And the funny thing is, what I didn't tell you what happened in that after that happened, I told them what happened to me in that room. With that box that came crashing down, the lid, and then it did it again when I was in there setting up, and you guys just thought that it was because the box was leaned
I'm
wrong
sure she
when we
thinks that
first.
she makes stuff up. I really do.
Do you see how he just?
No, Liberty Hall's on next. Next week is the 16th.
Yep. You even tested the theory to see if there was something wrong
So tell
with
the
your
story.
box.
Obviously, I don't remember
So
it
in
either.
the room that they saw a shadow figure, I was in setting out stuff.
She starts in the middle of every story.
I know, I do. So here, all right, I'm there now.
Okay.
So I was in there setting up stuff to get ready because we were gonna get ready to do the live. We'd have to go from room to room while we're doing a live. So I went in there to do, and the case was in there, and it was open, and the lid came banging down, and I came
which
out.
room are we talking about?
We're talking in the very first room when you go up the second floor, the very first room.
To your left?
Yes. Right there,
Okay.
where it's got the bed and it's got all that and the officer's hat that's in there. So the box is sitting there, and they've added more stuff in that room too. And it came boom down, and I came out. And remember, I came running out, and I was like, "Holy crap!" The lid went down. And you're like, "Oh, you must have been said it wrong." Blah blah. And you went in and you investigate, and you actually did the whole thing to see if you could recreate it. I know what
this
I'm
is all
talking
hearsay,
about.
by the way. This is I don't remember saying you put it down wrong. You did, but go ahead.
Anyways, you tried to recreate it, and then we walked out of the room again, and we all heard.
That's I'm always the bad guy in the story.
You're not a bad guy.
Okay.
There's nothing bad about this.
Okay.
So then the lid came, boom, down again. And then that's when you guys finally were like, oh, maybe it was something.
I don't remember, and I'm sure the others won't remember either, but I believe you. I believe you. Let's see what this is. Oh, I think we lost him with your crappy story. I mean, yep, we lost him.
What happened? You disappeared? Come back.
I swear I said I remember you. I was asking
Yeah.
my friend you, and then you said yes. What happened in the same room we were talking about?
Thank you.
I don't know who that
Thank
was.
you, Nikki.
Who was on there, but whoever you are, I saw you pop on and you popped off before I could hit the button. So if you want to come back, you come back. I just didn't. I looked up and I saw it there, and Chris pointed at it. And by the time I could hit the button, you were gone. So whoever you are,
come back.
I don't know who that was. Was that Danielle? Was that Caitlin? I don't know. Maybe Taylor? I don't know.
I'll post it again. Oh.
But the Van Horn is another one of those buildings where took me by surprise. The very first event that we did there, because we divvy up the building, like who wants to be where, everywhere we go. We're like, okay, you're going to be there, you're going to be there, I'm going to be here. And with that building, I would have preferred to be in the basement of the Van Horn because it's got a creepy vibe. And when we investigated it live, we got like a Native American kind of weird energy down in that basement. So I was like, yeah, let me go mess down there with that stuff.
That's another one that basement can make you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and Kenny wanted to go down there, so Kenny took that part. Tanya wanted the area where we had a lot of activity during our live. That I don't even know if that a bar over there or something. And
the two big portraits of the husband and wife that own the house.
So Chris was doing the scrying in another area on the second floor. So I'm left with like this area of the stairwell, this little hallway, and then one side room. And I was just like, you know what? Hopefully the rest of the place is active because I'm going to do whatever I can do with this part. And man, oh man, I got to tell you, somebody mentioned Native American because that house was built on like a secret trail that led to, I don't know, they have a big poster, but it was built right on the path. And, you know, things had to have happened there
Yeah.
for them to acquire that land
It
way back
stopped
in.
them from using their trail.
Yeah. So,
Not a fan.
so somebody mentioned it, and everything started happening. And I was like, ooh, this could be something. So we built upon that, and that whole entire night was pretty active in those rooms. And there was a guy there. I don't remember who brought him. I don't know if he came with Nicole, but he was a big, tall guy. I can't remember his name, but he claimed to be a medium. And he started going on and on about some child. You know how that has the low banister? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like on the top banister before
Yeah.
you come and go down the stairs, it's like hip level. So like if kids were running and they were running, they could go and then straight down. And he said a child fell here. I'm like, there's no reports of that. He goes, I feel it. A child fell here and the tripwire right down the stairs, lit up. And I'm like,
Holy cow.
like what is he hitting on? You know? Like, and I used that a little bit and I got some stuff back and forth, but that was really weird, you know. And then we started doing EVPs and questions along those lines, and I think we got a few things, but nothing concrete. But that building surprised the hell out of me on that little area where I was lucky that
But I
night
think
because
that goes back to what we always talk about is that sometimes a place can be haunted and you're not getting anything because you're not asking the right questions.
yeah, but even beyond that, I think sometimes for some reason I think spirits travel with groups.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen
I
all
agree
the
with
time, but it happens some of the time where, just like I said with the butt grabbing thing, how it happened to two people and nobody else. I think sometimes that spirit or spirits get fixated on certain people in the group and they follow them throughout the building.
Patricia's right about that too.
Which is why certain people have activity wherever they go, you know?
We didn't know that a tragedy had happened across the street, and when you're doing a method, something happened. Yeah, it came out.
We're not even bringing that up. I wouldn't have brought that up. Anyway.
When I pass, I'd like to be in a group too.
Yeah, whatever happened across the street of that place, there was a tragedy, and that person probably has family and stuff. And,
yeah, so we're not gonna.
We don't go there.
But it was we didn't know about the tragedy.
It did pick up.
But it did pick up on that, and that's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm saying.
I wouldn't pursue that and go elaborate on that.
And we didn't because we didn't want to because it's a recent tragedy.
But anyway, that building's another one that took me by surprise, and I'm hoping the same thing happens when we go back there.
Yeah.
Next week. Because again, we only did that building 2 times.
Next week?
No, Patricia, it's nothing against you. It's just
no.
I purposely didn't build upon that or even try to go down that road that night because I am sensitive to those sort of things, you know. But anyway, we're going to do something. We did something interesting the last time we were there, and I'm going to try it again. See if I can get it to work again. I don't want to say what it is because, again, we only did it once. So we did it there because it just worked out. They have a, what do you call this? Projector.
Screens,
and the screens. And we were able to use that to remote investigate. And it worked really, really well.
It was pretty good.
So I'm looking forward to doing that again because that was the last time we did it. Don't really get to do that anywhere else.
Yeah, we're going to be there September 30th. We're doing the mine this weekend.
Oh, that's right. The mine is this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, oh shoot. We're going up to the mine.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a lot of driving to do. Colette,
yes.
How are you? The mine's even better. This time of the year, woo, getting darker early, being up there. Mine's a good time. I'm looking forward to that. That's one that people are emailing like crazy. Trying to, but all the events, these 2 months, we throw in some old favorites. You know, the Caldwell Parsonage is going to be, that's a back-to-back one. That's the Caldwell Parsonage in Union on a Friday and the Liberty Hall on a Saturday.
And the Psychic Fair during the day.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the ghost hunts.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, that's all part of the package.
It is part of the package. I'm talking about the enjoyment of going to different places here. I'm excited for the mine. First time there, Rachel, and that's going to be Kalani. And never saw a Kalani ghost hunt yet, although I know his TikTok is pretty popular. So I am curious to see what he does and how he does it. You're never too sure what people do when we do these things and we do a combined effort. I know the ones I've had a really good time with doing that would be Claudia Satori. You know, they're so on board and so into it, you know.
I wonder if I do a switch with you when we know that Kalani's going to be in the mine, where I come out and I'll just go into the office so you can be in the mine with Kalani.
My last night you worked for 2 weeks going on. Yeah, Dave's a good guy. Very good speaker too, by the way. But I didn't even know that the mine was this week. Shows you where I am. I know the number of events and places we're going.
Me who doesn't know what's happening.
But the mine, I didn't know that was this week. But that's great because I really like the mine, and the mine allows me to be in a building all by myself, and I love that. We were just talking about that on the way home last night. That you know, you love to do EVPs. EVPs are like the coolest thing to do to get like real time responses, like voice, like definitely it's their voice, they're talking. But some buildings don't allow for that because a lot of these old historic buildings, the walls are paper thin, you know, and you can hear people above you and below you and down the hall from you, or, you know, even if they're on another side of the building. So you got to take the EVP stuff and just whoop because it's all contaminated, you know. Whatever voice you're getting, you're not going to be able to.
I think I was the only one that had the opportunity last night.
Because you were so
when
far
I went
removed.
up to the attic, I removed myself from, because even on the second floor we could hear stuff from the first floor a little bit, and I know you could hear stuff from where you were. So when we went up into the attic, we actually could. I
mean, I would have loved to have been able to do EVPs in the basement because I can't find out enough about that person just by the means that I have, you know. So there may be, again, that's part of the winter investigations that we're going to do. We're going to kind of revisit these places with just us, and in that case, we can do EVPs with 4 of us where we're down there and nobody else is in the building, and we can do that in all these different places where we know that the contamination is minimal.
So, and each of the groups that were coming up, I kind of made a few changes as I went through the night, depending on who was in the group and what was going on. And I said to the group, pick a number 1, 2, 3, and everybody picked a different number. And then the last group, I said, pick a number, and they all picked the same number. I've never, ever, ever, ever had people in line with the same thought process when I said, just pick a number just for whatever. And it was the funniest thing that all of them said the same number. How many times does that ever happen where you have a group of people and they all say the same number? Never, right? And it was just funny that happened in one of my groups. And I was just like, that'll never happen again. And if you wanted that to happen, it would never happen. Like they were all in sync with each other. Yeah. It was you guys, all in sync. But what was the big finale of the night? What was the big excitement? It was the fascination with the truck with the purple lights. He's looking at it, he's just smiling very quietly, but if you know, you know. We stopped at Wawa to get some refreshments on the way home, and it was this really old beat up pickup truck that was high up, and it was beat up, and it had this thing on the back of it that actually looked like it was straight out of a horror movie. And I know that the new thing is all these colored lights on these cars, and you know the beams underneath for racing, and the inside of the car lights up. But this truck was beat up, and he had purple lights underneath the tire wells, and it was so loud. I mean, you could hear it a mile down the road, and we were all just making jokes and laughing about it because it was funny. And he's quiet.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I actually said that. It reminded me of the Jeepers Creepers thing. Like, it was nuts, but it was funny. Yeah, the redneck rapper with the mullet. pretty.
And you want an hour of this, do you? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. I will. Careful what you wish for.
It was funny.
She tells a story that's
FBI
relevant to three
Facebook
people who were there.
No, but it was funny. So I know you weren't there, but I can recreate it to tell you that this truck just comes into this. We could hear it coming all the way down until we didn't see it. And it was this huge truck, and they were all making stuff. They were all being funny about this truck. And I'm just sitting there going like, yeah, but these trucks are used for bogging. And then they all looked at me like, there's nowhere to go bogging around here. So.
Oof. Yeah, Chris does need her own show. You're right, Brian. Yeah, there won't be anything paranormal in it, but you'll learn about trucks with lights and people who shout out the number 3 at the same time, and it'll be.
Hey,
it'll be so thought provoking, so many levels. She says that her two again of all the things that we mentioned, that happened throughout the course of the night. People getting touched, knockbacks. The highlight, you heard it. The highlight of the night was
monster truck that
monster truck with lights on it, and people saying the number 3 together.
Oh,
I don't need to say anything more than that one. You got to ban that one.
I can't. It's on YouTube. Oh, yeah. There's always got to be an idiot in the group.
But anyway, yeah, that was, I had a great time last night. Thank you again. Yeah, I mean, again,
we had a great time too.
Thank you guys who came. Again, we won't be able to do these. Hey, I'm trying them. It is really hard for me to have any kind of serious paranormal discussion when I have Beavis and Butthead sitting next to me.
I'm the sidekick, man. I don't have to keep like on that.
I try. I really try.
I waited to the end. You gotta give me credit on that, man. I waited to the end before I went there.
I really try. But yeah, you guys want an hour. I keep asking her. Go ahead. Turn it on and go.
No.
Turn it on and go.
No.
People would enjoy it. You heard that.
I would take that train into a whole different direction of what he would want. And
it's a whole other perspective. Of course, it wouldn't be under the New Jersey Paranormal. She'd have to create her own group and go do that over there because I worked too hard to build this thing.
It would get derailed pretty quickly because I'm like Rabbit. Like we were on the way home from lunch with his son, and
here we go.
Literally, we were
in the middle of a conversation. In the middle.
And I literally saw a fox jump in the woods and go run. I go, fox! And he's just like, what the heck?
We were right in the middle. The middle of going back and forth with the conversation. And I say it to her all the time because I don't know which Disney movie it is, but the dog could speak. It has some collar on where you could hear where it's talking. And they're talking to the dogs. They're talking back and forth to each other. And they're all of a sudden, squirrel. The dog keeps looking over. And whenever a squirrel, he stops. Squirrel. And that's this one. Whatever she sees. Yep, exactly. Whatever she sees right in the middle of a conversation. It's just, and then I just go, and then she tries to get back to the conversation, and I'm just like, was it up?
Yeah.
I'm just like, forget it.
No, we went right back into our discussion. It was just that I literally saw this beautiful fox just like jump right up and go and it was really pretty. And I said it, fox! It came right out of my head, so.
See what I deal with?
Hey, Colleen.
See what I deal with?
Yeah, you deal with it.
I literally spent.
Me, I deal with the paranormal savior. There's no pressure.
I literally spent. This is my day. We had an event yesterday where we get there it starts at 7:30. We got there at 5:30. We don't get home till whatever. Take a shower, go to bed, 3 o'clock in the morning. Get up, have to empty the car for all the equipment that we bring. Then I'm literally working, promoting the expo for hours, and posting the social media stuff. And then, then we come later to do this because we're going to go to the Creeper Gallery on Tuesday I like keeping things flowing between the people that come to our events or here, as well, and you guys that watch that don't live in New Jersey that can still participate. Fox, but I try. I'm always busy, always working, always trying to. And then I get the truck with the purple lights, and I try. People.
This is what John does not comprehend. John is John. Chris is Chris. Chris's brain does not operate like John's brain. I couldn't imagine.
It's a scary place for me to be. Trust me.
I have an array of eclectic different things and thoughts, and my process is not John's process.
Normal.
We do not cross streams.
Abnormal. Yes.
We are polar opposites and just about a lot of things. But having said that, we balance each other. I drive him insane.
I have such a high level of tolerance. Hence the paranormal. Hence the paranormal savior moniker that I have.
That is what we call whitewashing.
I have a high level of tolerance. I'm used to it.
It's whitewashing.
But we've been together a long time, and yeah.
And yet you still picked me, and you're still with me. What does that say? Obviously, I'm doing something right.
I'll leave it at that. We'll leave them guessing. Anyway, anything else about the night that you anything else happen at the Wawa or anything that you want to share?
No, it was a great night. Had a great time. Colleen just popped in at the end. I don't know if she wanted to say a few of her points that happened for the night for her, or because she was saying things were happening to a few people in their mirrors and stuff. Listen, that's all part of what we do. Different aspects and different.
Well, I don't know. How did we find out if she wants to? Chris, please tell us.
She's right here. I'm waiting to see if she would like to say something real quick about her.
Horrible segue. Do you see what I'm talking about? I'm a story builder. I have an ebb and a flow of an hour of leading. Even when we do interviews, there's a method to my madness from beginning to end.
Madness.
Arc. It's called an arc. You start somewhere, you end somewhere else. Instead of just saying,
I'm like this.
Colleen, if you're watching, we see that you're on. Do you want to come on and talk about some of the things that happen in your area? No. Chris has to say, well, maybe Colleen wants to. Colleen was watching. Sounds like what?
That's right. Some do like the music I now play. It's true, because we did hear that. People said they really enjoyed the music that you played for meditation. So, yeah.
Again, what? This is a two-way. How do they know about what you're talking about?
So Colleen came in, and Colleen is a practicing witch. She's been doing this for a long time, and she brings in many different art forms that I don't have comprehension of, and that all things about metaphysical stones and stuff like that. So she has really developed and brought in a lot of knowledge that I do not have. Like, I know enough, but I don't know like what Colleen knows from what field that she comes from and what she does. And she is an asset to what we do when it comes to the metaphysical scrying and what she brings into it with the pendulums and stuff.
And allowing Colleen to do what she does, which she's very talented at, saves me from being in a dark area and Colleen appearing out of nowhere from behind a wall and scaring the crap out of me every 2 seconds like she does. But no, she's very talented, very knowledgeable, and a very nice person.
She brought in this music to help people meditate and get into the moment. Because again, you can just figure that you're going from group to group and you're getting excited, or maybe things are happening that you're wound up, and then she gets you into her group and she brings you back down.
Colleen, please send that music to me so I have it all the time, please. If you know what I mean. I could use it right now, if you know what I mean.
But anyways, she can bring people down with that music very quickly, so that it opens them up to have the experience through the scrying and the stuff that she does. So that's what's really cool about bringing Colleen back on board and having her do that part. And it's freed me up to do the other stuff that I did that I normally wouldn't get to do, which has been very interesting and very enlightening.
Yeah. So again, Colleen, if you wanted to come on, the link is there. If not, that's fine as well. I mean, we could take a few minutes and just come on, talk about some of the experience. If not, it's okay.
I'll put
Again,
the link right there. Just say yes or no.
It's just another aspect of what we do. Paranormal investigations should incorporate all the above. Even the thing we talked about, we're putting your hand on the board, the what was it called again? The cooling board, and seeing what feelings you get, seeing how you feel in any given room at any time as opposed to anywhere else. It should involve all of those things and not just one thing.
Yeah.
You know. But again, Colleen, if you don't feel like it, that's fine. We just figured we'd give you an opportunity. And again, the scrying part is something that I wouldn't do it because
you can't sit for 2 seconds and meditate yourself into doing it.
It's all lies.
That should be.
We're not gonna be able to hear her though.
Right.
I gotta take her off.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Who's this now?
Hi, guys.
Hold on 1 minute, okay? Let me work out my layout here. I don't like that layout. There she is. What's up?
Hi.
So you wanna give a little? Don't give too much away because you know that they watch
They're
out
watching.
there and they'll copy everything we do and paste and copy and paste. But talk a little bit about your night and.
This was the first week I brought everyone their own individual crystal balls to work with, along with everything else we use, and it seems that a lot of people actually really liked it.
So that was what was different about what you normally do, like.
Well, normally I bring other types of crystal balls, like the fluorite to help open the third eye, but this time I brought regular crystal quartz balls, like you would see, like in all the movies, you know, fortune tellers use. But I went through probably 40 different crystal balls that were at the shop and picked 10 that I really liked, that I had a connection to, that felt very clear. So I put them out and people were using them. They were actually kind of enjoying it. They were seeing things coming through, which is very unusual for a first timer.
Particular kind, the one she said it was a great new experience. What about the music?
The music seems to relax them enough to actually do something. The music, it's a megahertz that helps open the third eye, that helps with meditation, that helps them work with other things. So I found that worked really well too.
Hear me?
I hear you.
Send it to me right now, please, so I could have some calm and zen.
I don't know if that would work for you, John.
Yes. Whatever you got, just send it, please.
All right, I'll send the link to you.
But Colleen, you've been doing this now with us again for months now, right? It's been a little while.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
How are you enjoying now with the people and the interaction and growing your part of it?
They've become more receptive, which helps me show them more.
Okay.
In the beginning, they were kind of side-eyeing me a little bit and questioning things. Now, when something comes through for them, they're like, oh, wow. And they want to learn more, and they actually go further each time they work with me.
And eventually, we'll take one night and we'll just talk about the whole witch perspective. I don't want to get into that now because we've already been on for an hour. But one night will come up. People hear the word witch and they think maybe one thing. Maybe people know more about it because even I don't know all that much about it. But maybe one night we'll come on and we'll kind of cover as much of that as we can. You know?
Definitely.
I want to say real quick that one of the interesting things is that because you were there when I first came up with a concept for this. You were there with me when I was creating this to bring into the arena of ghost investigation, that I felt like when I talked to John and I talked to you, that I felt this was an important part that was missing. And I have watched you grow, and your confidence and what you're bringing to the table has surpassed what I do. And it's been an amazing journey to watch that and see that. And I think what you're getting from the people sitting down at your table now is that they're feeding off of your confidence and your what you have to give and share with them now. You found your voice.
I did, and in the beginning, it was a lot of people had those misconceptions of exactly what a witch was.
Yep.
And now they're realizing I'm not like you see in the movies and the horror movies.
I agree.
It'd be much cooler if you were, to be honest, but
Put a spell on me, please.
I'd like to see that. No, that's me. All right, Colleen, we'll talk soon.
Yes, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Let me plug in the thingy back on again.
So I've got 3D.
Oh, you gonna plug that back in?
Yes.
Came a call from me. All right, guys. So one night we'll get into. I don't want to do that, now because we'd be well into like 2 hours plus if we got into the. But we'll bring Colleen on and we'll really go into the witch part of it and have her explain from her perspective what she does and what
it really means.
Yeah, exactly. Because even I don't delve that far into the understanding.
She has a lot of things. I've had some very in-depth conversations with her, and it's definitely not what you think. Yeah. So it would be very enlightening to have that conversation with her out in the open so you guys can see.
And I am, again, 2 interviews. I think we have one maybe this week. Thursday. We were going to, our friend Marie Gilbert, who is a medium, we're going to talk about reincarnation. And I don't know, how is that not different than past lives or whatever? I'll find out. Because I don't know anything about it. I certainly don't want to come back as a cricket or a cockroach or something like that. I hope that's not what we're talking about.
Or a fox.
I try, folks. Colleen, please, could you cue the music up so I could hear it, please? Just send it through the speakers, please. And then the other person, I've been going back and forth with it. She had a near-death experience. Very, very interesting story. I got further, deeper into it. I kind of read what her experience was, and I misunderstood really the whole thing. I understood it to be one little kind of specific thing that happened to her, but it is so much more.
Layers.
Oh my God. Good, real. I mean, interesting, good stuff. And I don't want to spoil too much of it, but she really has been through a lot. And the journey that she's been on and how it relates to her near-death experience and other experiences she had in her life with death of those around her. Ooh, she's on TikTok and I watched her videos.
Oh, I can't wait.
And then I read her bio again, and I was just like, wow. So I'm going back and forth with her. She's real busy this month, so we're trying to work it out. But I'm looking forward to really speaking with her as well. I mean, and trying to get some of the others on. We'll have Chip on again as we get close to Christmas. I want to get a few of the others on that we've had on before. Maybe I can bring Jason Halls again on at some point and a few others. But I want to get back into interviewing and talking to people. I enjoy doing that a lot. Anyway, that's enough for one night. We'll see you Tuesday night, 7:30, live from the Creeper Gallery. We'll be back at the Creeper Gallery. So, good night, everyone.
Good night. Stay safe. Please be well, and please be kind to each other. It matters.
That's it.
Good night, everybody.
And that's all.